I потом надо мне принести это самое. Какой-то, чтобы я мог смотреть. А? У тебя есть? Или у...
Я дам, да.
Надо написать тему. Ты же еще не написал тему. Или ты уже включил? Ну. Тогда тебе придется на ходу. Change the reason for your crisis. Hello, everybody. Sunday Adelaja here. Today's topic is change. The reason, life topic, hashtag life. Change, the reason for your crisis. Change the reason for your crisis. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Madam Nedat, что-то, чтобы я мог приветствовать людей. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Who is there? Okay, I must have a program. Yeah. I'm sorry, I was not. Okay, Mayo, why you are the first one today? Blessing. All right. Prudence. Elizabeth. Lola Shurunke, Rochelle White. Oshuko, Eric Osadolo. Olayinka. Sheun Adeyemo. Justin Mayo. Anastasia. McDonald. Joseph Kwana. Olani Dada, Elizabeth, Nkem Dike, Donald Soar, The Word, Shigo Nwafo, Stephanie Lee, Fleck Karin Matip, Stella Feintola, Christina Lampe, Yomi Jegede, Paul Eric, Sunday Aware, Akomolafe Julius, Paul Awodele, Stella Nuhu. Welcome everyone, nice to see you all. Another day of glory, another day of God's visitation. As you are coming in, please go ahead and let's go ahead and share the link. Go ahead and share the message. That's the way you'll be able to have this message for yourself. So go ahead and share the link of the message. Infant Benny, Favor Emmanuel, Hosea, Willie Waniki, Ayesha, Ayodele Alex, Okwoma, King Abel, T.Y. Moore. Yeah, nice to see all of you. Let's go ahead and share the message, please. Sorry that I came a little bit late today. You know, like I said, today is a busy week for me. I am doing I'm doing a leadership school today in the church here for the local church here in Kyiv, Ukraine. So I'm busy from morning to night. And I just finishing from the classes with the Ukrainians, Russians here. And I'm coming right from there to meet you. So before we set up everything, sometimes it's not always on time. So sorry for that. Josephine Onabo, Success, Tobinsi, Tokumbo, Afiniki, Emmanuel Rotimi, Gbemi Orekoya, Jesse Arnett, Oluwaseyi, Kiki Adetiba. Welcome everyone. Well, today's message is Like I've said, today's message is change. Change. Change is a big word, but change the reason for your crisis. You remember yesterday, I think I spoke about comfort, the reason for your crisis. Now, I want to give another reason for that it could be responsible for your crisis. Another reason why you might be in the crisis that you are in today. That reason is change. You know, change is, like we always say, and all of us know that change is the most constant of anything in life. Is the most meritable constancy that we have in life. And nothing that could be guaranteed to happen other than change. And the Bible even said that we will not, even death is not as constant as change. That change is more constant, it's more guaranteed, it's more assured than death. Like, it's like the most meritable thing in life to be constant is death. But no, change is more constant and it's more predictable, it's more sure than death. The Bible says not everybody will die. Like Enoch never died. Elijah was taken away, he never died. And some of us will not die if we happen to be alive when Jesus comes back. So not all will die, but all will definitely change. That one is for sure. Everyone will definitely change. There is no way you will not change. I mean, you change from when you are small, you change when you are a toddler, to when you are a child, then from when you are a child, you change to when you are a teenager, from when you are a teenager, you change to when you are a young adult, from when you are a young adult, you change to when you are adult. We all change. There is just no way we don't change. Everybody will change. I mean, you know, maybe you want to look at your picture 20 years back. I'm sure you must have noticed some changes, isn't it? Some of us are changing as we are talking right now. The other day I went to actually while I was here in this my office, I guess they have better light here in the office, so I went to the bathroom. I was going there to comb my hair. You guess what I discovered? Guess what I discovered? Another change shock. Another change was coming my way. Get what I discovered? I discovered that the change is going on as we speak. I discovered that I have a bunch of gray hair coming up everywhere in my head. That is change, real change right there. Because I noticed them, they were not there the other day. A few years ago, all of them were black. Now, I have some white things, you know, some white hair, looking up, looking up at me. And it's like they were all screaming from everywhere. Look at me, I'm here, change is coming. And all of us are going to experience that change. You are all going to experience that change, I bet you. You think you will never have gray hair? Well, let's see. So that's what we are saying, that change is the most meritable constancy that could be guaranteed. It is very guaranteed, it's very sure that change must come. And the thing with change is that it must come regularly, not just once in a lifetime change. It must be change that is regular. On a daily basis, there must be one change or the other taking place in your life. So, but when we don't want to change, when we don't want to change, when you don't want to change, you know what that means? Anybody that is resisting change, you know what you're doing? Guess what? Anyone that does not want to change, I don't want to be in a hurry to tell you what to expect and what you are doing. Any attempt to escape change, any attempt to resist change, any attempt to run away from change, you know what it is? You know what it is? Any attempt to escape change, any attempt to escape change means an invitation to crisis. Any attempt to resist change is an invitation for crisis. You are extending an invitation letter to crisis. If you don't want to change, you open door for crisis. Unwillingness to change is an open invitation. God will make sure he arranges a crisis for you right behind you. Right, there is a crisis knocking at your door. It doesn't matter how much you try to hide from that crisis, it's going to come from where you never expected it. And God is going to make that person to press that button of the change that you are not expecting or you didn't want to have in the first place. So change is a constancy. Change is the only veritable thing that could be guaranteed in life. Change is a veritable constancy. Veritable constancy. You have to, there is no doubt about it. There is no running away from it. Change is something that we will all experience. And change is something that we can all know, and that we can not all run away from. None of us can run away from it. And any attempt from us to resist change or to run away from change will only land up in crisis and in more trouble, in more sorrow, in tragedy, and things like that. So if you say, it's just like saying somebody who is 5 years old or 10 years old, he says, I refuse to grow. I don't want to become an adult. I refuse to grow. I will not grow. You know that is not possible. And no matter, I say, okay, I will not eat. I refuse to eat because I don't want to grow. I will not eat. I will not do this. I don't want to grow. That will result in that person getting sick. That will result to that person being incapacitated. That person will become, bedridden, and eventually is going to, be a threat to his life. So the risk of changing is nothing compared to risk of remaining how you are. Any time that you decide to remain the way you are taking more risk than the risk of change. So to want to try to remain the same way all the time is taking too much risk. It's actually too risky. It's too risky. So for you to say, I will not change, I like the way I am, well, nobody is asking you. And what you are going to get is crisis. It's crisis. You are inviting crisis whenever you say you don't want to change. There are some people, we have, I don't know what you call it, they call it something, when young ladies, young girls, because they want to go for modeling business, or they want to become a model, and they don't want to grow fat, they don't want to grow big, and they want to remain, what they call it, 90, 60, 90? They call it 90, 60, 90. They want to remain with a figure of 90, 60, 90. They want to remain tiny, thin, and slim, and that's what they think is beautiful. And they say, okay, they want to remain and have that figure, and they refuse to eat. They begin to restrain from themselves from eating. What do they call that problem? There's a problem like that when girls refuse to eat because they want to become models, and they become so emaciated, and they are not able to eat. And it become in some countries that's a very big problem. Can't remember the word they use for it, but it's not bulimia. Bulimia is when you eat and you throw out. But this is anorexia, yeah. Is it anorexia you call it? Yeah, anorexia. So anorexia is because it's a bigger problem than being fat. I mean, at least being normal. It's better for them to eat to just eat, regular. Just eat your food. Oh. It's not less danger for you to eat your food and get your weight on than to suffer from anorexia. Anorexia. Yeah. Anorexia. It's better to eat and put on some more weight. You take less risk. You have less danger. But when you refuse to eat that way, when you say, no, I just want to remain like I was, you are 26, but you want to remain like you are 16, or you are 30, you want to remain like 14, and just say, no, I want to be a model, I will not eat. You land up in the hospital in a bad shape. You are in trouble. You get anorexia, and you become a patient. And when you get that anorexia, you will not be able to walk. You have strength to go out. You will not have strength to dress. You will not even have strength to go and do the modeling work that you wanted to do in the first place. So you lose your opportunity. You lose your chance of even becoming that thing that you wanted to become. You even lose the job. They even fire you from that job in the first place because they don't need you that way. They don't need you to want to kill yourself. I actually saw a film. I saw a film of a girl that was suffering from that anorexia, and she was now weighing 40 kilograms or something, and she was so bad she couldn't even stand up from bed. She was so thin that she eventually died. I think she lost weight until she was 24 kilograms or something like that. So she became so skinny, they couldn't save her life. I mean, can you imagine? Only bones were weighing 24 kilograms, not just because she wanted to be skinny and be beautiful, as she said. Because she doesn't want to grow. She doesn't want to grow older. She wanted to remain the same way she was looking at 14. And she wanted to starve herself not to grow fat. Because she doesn't want change. Any attempt to resist change is an invitation to a greater problem, to greater crisis. We invite greater trouble, greater crisis, greater problem to our lives when we want to resist change. Now, let me give you another example here of people who try to resist change in the Bible. When Jesus was about to go, he told his disciples that they must go into all nations and make disciples of all nations, all people, and that they must be scattered. He said, you start from Jerusalem, but don't remain in Jerusalem. Get out of Jerusalem and go to Samaria. And when you leave Samaria, go to the end of the earth. So God was challenging the children of Israel not to remain in one spot. Don't build a sanctuary and don't build a church where all of you just sit in and you get comforted and you are having so much comfort and so satisfied that you'll be catering just for yourself. So God was challenging the children of Israel the first Christians, our brothers and sisters, the patriarch of faith, that they should not just, try to remain in one place. And you know what they did, of course? They are like us. They are just like us. They got a good church in Jerusalem. They started a good church in Jerusalem. And having the church in Jerusalem means they didn't need to go anywhere anymore because Jerusalem was the capital. And in Samaria was not so beautiful. Samaria was not so as wealthy, was not so cozy as Jerusalem was. Samaria didn't have the money that Jerusalem had. Samaria didn't have all the resources and all the disciples and all the things and all the provision and the blessing that Jerusalem church had. So everybody stayed put in Jerusalem. Everybody just stayed in Jerusalem and started managing the affairs of the church. That's the easy way out, and that's the way they took. Well, I don't need to tell you the story because you know what happened. Because when you say you don't want to change, you want to remain where you are, you just want to remain in Jerusalem, you will not go out of that Jerusalem, you don't even want to go to Samaria, God knows how to handle you. Although thank God for Philip, he went to Samaria, so he didn't have that problem. But all the other guys who stayed back in Jerusalem, you know what happened to them? Because even Philip wouldn't have gone to Samaria, but it was God who led him there. He went to Samaria, he said, no, he did that, and then the Holy Spirit took him from there. He ministered to the Ethiopian eunuch, and then all the other guys remained in Jerusalem. You know what happened as a result? God. Because anytime you are resisting change, anytime you refuse to change, anytime you don't want to change, because change is progressive. Change doesn't just come one time. It's progressive. It's a cycle. It keeps on coming. New changes, new challenges to change always come to our lives. You will never get to a place where you are just relaxed. You will never get to a place when you are just say, okay, I've come to the end of changes. Now I don't need to change. Now it's time to enjoy. I will just sit down here and enjoy life. It will never happen. Change is always required at every stage of your life. Change is always required at every season of your life. Change is always required on daily basis in different things that we do, almost in everything that we do, because change means movement. Change means advancement. Change means progress. Change means, forward movement. So if you are not changing, it means that you are stagnant. If you are not changing, it means that you are not progressing. If you are not changing, it means that there are no forward movement. If you are not changing, it means that you are standing put. And if you are standing put, it means that you are going back, really. There is nothing like standing put in this world. Because any attempt for you to stand put means you are going back. Because the life is progressive itself. Life is dynamic. So since life is dynamic, you must join put and be more dynamic than the speed of life. If you are not even more faster, you are not changing faster than the speed of life, you are actually going back. You are going back because everything is passing you by and you are going back. So you are either moving forward or you are moving backward. Nothing like standing backward. Nothing like standing put in one place. And God will not allow that to happen to his church, because God knows if they will all remain in Jerusalem, the church would never accomplish its our agenda, our purpose on the earth. And the same thing with you. If you refuse to grow, if you refuse to constantly increase, constantly grow, you will never accomplish your purpose in life. You will never accomplish your purpose in life. So God will put you in a situation whereby you will be forced to grow. You will be forced to increase. You will be forced to constantly grow. Because if you don't do that, you will never accomplish God's purpose and God's desire on your life. So God knows that about the church in Jerusalem. And you know what he did? He said, you guys, you don't want to grow? You don't want to grow? You don't want to go? You don't want to change? You don't want to change. Okay, let's see now. If you don't want to change, don't worry. You remember what I said? Any attempt to run away from change is to invite crisis. Any attempt, any time that you attempt to resist change, you are inviting greater pain, greater crisis, greater sorrow, maybe greater tragedy. Anytime you come against change, anytime you refuse to change, you are actually opening the door of your life into tragedy, into crisis, into adversities, you are inviting adversity, you are inviting trouble, you are inviting, actually it is safer for you to just change willingly, voluntarily. Just it is less costly for you to just pursue change than for you to resist change and invite crisis, sorrow, tragedy, and adversities. Well, you know the story of what happened in Jerusalem. You know the story. You know the story of what happened in Jerusalem. Yeah, you know what happened there. God, because they will not go by themselves, because they will not change their disposition, because they will not go to the ends of the world as like God told them to do, because they want to remain where they are, because they want to remain in their comfort, because they want to remain where they are used to, because they want to remain in their comfort zone. You know, we all like our comfort zones. Let me tell you the truth. We all like comfort zone, isn't it? We all like comfort zone. Don't tell me you don't like your comfort zone. Comfort zone means peace. Comfort zone insecurity. Comfort zone means predictability. Comfort zone means that I know what to expect. Comfort zone means that there are no changes. Comfort zone means that there are no surprises. And most of us don't like surprises. We don't like surprises, isn't it? Well, I tell you, the apostles were just the same people. They were just like us. They didn't like surprises, and then they didn't like uncertainty, because change means uncertainty. Change means you don't know what to expect in that sub-area, then you don't know what to expect to the end of the earth. You don't know what to expect. You don't know what's waiting for you. You don't know what are the amenities that are there or the infrastructures that are not there. You don't know what you are going to face. You don't know these uncertainties that are waiting for you. So you think the best thing to do is just to resist this change and pretend that you are not hearing what God is telling you to do. Just pretend that you are not hearing what God is telling you to do. You turn a deaf ear to God. Well, they tried to do that in Jerusalem. They tried to do that in Jerusalem. They would not go. They stood still. They stayed put. And while they were there in Jerusalem, God sent a horrible persecution against them. Such a bad persecution that they were all scattered. It was so bad that the whole city was destroyed. It was so bad that no church was even, at a point, there was no church remaining there. Lives were lost. Many of them were killed. Many of them their lives were destroyed. And they had to run for their lives, actually. They were scattered. They were scattered by force. By force. They changed. They lost their houses. They lost their security. They lost their comforts. They lost their comfort zone. They lost their peace. They lost their families, some of them. They lost their homes. They became refugees. But if they had gone on their own accord, if they had gone willingly, they would have got a job. They would not have become refugees. They would have gotten a house. They would have gotten a property. They would have, things would have been much more predictable for them. But because they were afraid of the negative or of the uncertainty that is connected to the change, they would rather sit put. But that's more costly. The price of change is more costly than the price of resistance to change. It's going to cost you less to change than what it will cost you to resist change, my dear. So, look into your life right now. Could that crisis that you are having be caused by your unwillingness to change? Maybe to change your location, maybe to change your occupation, maybe because your unwillingness to change your character, maybe your unwillingness to change your attitude, maybe your unwillingness to change where you are, maybe your unwillingness to change your mindset, maybe your unwillingness to change your paradigm, maybe your unwillingness to change your worldview, maybe your unwillingness to change your behavior, maybe your unwillingness to change your patterns, maybe your unwillingness to change your habits. What is it that crisis is trying to change in you? That's one of the questions that you must ask yourself. Anytime that you begin to have any crisis or any kind of changes, any kind of shaking, you want to find out, what is it that I need to change? What is it that I need to change? What is it that I need to change? God is working to get you to change something in yourself, to improve yourself, to become better, to go to a better place, to go from where you are to another place. So, and that's what I'm going to be talking about today. How do I know that the time has come for me to change? And I will be telling you, I'll be telling you more of that. How do you know that it's time to change? When do I know when to either to move on or to stay? I will also be answering that question for you today. And But one thing I want you to know is this, that all of us resist change, really, to tell you the truth. All of us, one way or the other, try to resist change. We all try to we all try to resist change one way or the other. We don't like change because we all like comfort. But it's not we who like it, it's our body who likes it. It's our carnal body, right? It's our nature, our human nature that likes it. We like to rather stay and keep things the way they are. We would rather keep things the way they are. And we think that is safer, but it's actually more deadly. It's not that safe. It's safer to move forward. It's safer to grow. It's safer to increase. It's safer to change. It's always safer to change. But in our human body, we think it's safer to remain the way you are. We think it's safer to remain in status quo. But actually, it's safer to change. It's safer to change. But let me tell you what helps us to change. Crisis, trouble, problems, challenges, trials, difficulties. Those things are the things that help us to change. And they're some of our greatest helps. Crisis is one of your greatest helps. Problems are one of your greatest helps. Trials, challenges, tribulations, they are some of your greatest helps. Adversities, they are some of your greatest helps. And because we fear change so much that let me give you an idea. We only change when we realize that the pain of remaining where we are or the way we are, the pain of remaining in the status quo, the pain of staying in the comfort zone, we only change that comfort zone, that status quo, when we realize that the pain to remain as we are, as things are, is more than the pain to change. So pain is our helper. How many of you like pain? Who knows? Who knows? I don't think too many of you like pain. But let me tell you, the difference between the pain of change and the pain of crisis is this. When you decide to change by yourself, you are undertaking what we call voluntary pain. Voluntary pain. You are voluntarily putting yourself through pain. The pain of change, as bad as the pain of change is, and as painful as change is, that is nothing compared to the change of to the pain of crisis or to the pain of regret. So when we refuse to undergo the pain of change, then the pain of crisis comes. And normally, let me tell you what, the pain of crisis is always greater than the pain of change. So when the pain of crisis begins to crush us, when the pain of crisis begins to break us and crush us, that is when we now say, okay, no, wait, crisis, wait, I would rather, let me go back to the pain of change. I would rather change. Stop. I would rather change. Because the pain of change is, well, like I tell my people here, is like 2 grams compared to 2 tons of the pain of crisis. Now, so voluntary pain that we are afraid of initially, the voluntary pain that we don't want to go through initially, the voluntary pain of change is only 2 grams in comparison to the pain of regret, to the pain of crisis. But when the pain of crisis begins to come and crush us and is breaking us, then we begin to say, no. Okay, wait now. I'll rather go back to, I'm going to change. Then we go back to the pain of change, which is just 2 grams. So what I'm trying to say is that as scary as changes, really, it's only 2 grams of pain compared to 2 tons of pain that comes through refusal to do voluntary pain. 2 grams is nothing. It's not even 2 kilograms. 2 grams is nothing compared to 2 tons of the pain of regret. The pain that, because the pain of change is voluntary, so you are in charge, so you know what to expect, so you are initiating it. But the bad thing about the pain of crisis is that you don't initiate anything. You lose control. It comes suddenly. It comes unexpectedly. It comes from the angle you don't expect. And you don't get to measure the pain. You don't measure the pain. It just keeps on increasing until you decide to change. So the pain of the pain of crisis is always the pain of regret. Because you are regretting that, oh, wow, I've done that by myself. I could have taken that decision all by myself without this thing coming on me. Wow. So, because God knows that our unwillingness to change will land us in greater pain, and God knows that our unwillingness to, our refusal to change will land us in 2 tons of pain. And because He knows that if we refuse that crisis, because the crisis that comes really is not as bad as consequences of refusal to change. So crises are our help. Crises are our push to help us change, so that we could still amend our ways and still get some things right. But if we neglect the suggestions of the crisis, if we neglect the help of crisis, if we refuse to change even during crisis, then we even get worse pain and worse regret, and worse things begin to happen to us, because then things really go out of control. So crisis, therefore, is a blessing. It's a blessing in that sense. Crisis is a blessing in that sense. So, we are all the same. We are all humans. And only few people, like 3% of people, who are so disciplined to initiate changes by themselves, who don't wait for crisis to help them. And most of these people are very disciplined people, and we can all become like that, to initiate change, to always go ahead of crisis, and to always make sure that you are in constant change. And the way to do that is to, always be in the state of self-education, always be in search, always look for ways to change, ways to improve yourself. What are the new things to do on a regular basis? Always go forward, always be in search, always forge forward, always be in the forward movement, always be initiative, always working on yourself, always, discipline yourself. But because it's so difficult to live that way, some of us want to live in comfort, want to relax sometimes, and which is natural. But the more you initiate change, the more you embrace change, the more you go ahead and start the change voluntarily, the less crisis you might be able to, you might encounter. But it doesn't always guarantee you that you've done enough. So your crisis might be less than those people who don't want to change, but still, there are sometimes you might still need some crisis to give you even a greater push or a greater reminder of some of these areas where we have neglected or where you've refused to change. So so in that sense, you know, crisis could be a blessing to us. Crisis are a blessing to us. So all those talk that people do in churches and charismatic churches of going to cast out demons and that Satan is always responsible for the crisis, you know, it's just funny. Just funny. I mean, if you say that all crises and all troubles, all challenges, all trials, and all adversities are from Satan, then when do you grow? Then when do you grow? Then when do you change? I mean, you know, religion is a bad thing. Religion is a terrible thing, because religion will tell you that you need to fight against crisis. You need to fight against change. Religious is a terrible thing. Religious is a terrible thing. That's why Christianity is not a religion. Christianity is supposed to be just a relationship with the Lord, a loving relationship with the Father. And if you are really relating with the Father, if you're really intimate with Him, you are changing from glory to glory every day. God is progressive. God is dynamic. And there is no way you walk with God, truly walk with God, truly know God, for you not to change. God is about change. But religion is about lack of change. Religion doesn't want you to change. Religion wants things to remain the way they are. And religion is telling you, fight change. Fight change. Fight crisis. Fight problems. Fight adversities. Fight trials. Fight challenges. But there are some that we need to fight, especially if we think that they are evil. I mean, there are problems that are caused by the enemy, by Satan, and, you know, to destroy us or something like that. But there are things you need to fight against. But some of them, they are actually supposed to spur you and to help you make advancement, make progress, to help you grow, to help you mature, to help you come out with some inventions, with some creative things. I mean, most of the things that we're having right now in life is as a result of crisis. I mean, why do we have transport? Why do we have cars, planes, sheep? Because of crisis of movement. Why do we have cameras? Why do we have, you know, this internet that we're using right now? Why do we have Facebook? Because of problems. The problem and challenge of communication. The problem of bridging the communication gap. Crisis, problems, challenges. They come to improve us. They come to challenge us, to help us to come up with some innovations, to help us to release the best in us, to help us to create, to be creative, to be better than we could imagine. So, but religion will tell you that if you're having any crisis or you're having any challenge, it means you are sinful. No, that's so silly, that's so crazy. And then you need to go to the pastor to pray for you. You need to go to anointed men of God to relieve you from the pain. If they will relieve you of the pain, why do you give birth? Because when you give birth, you have more pain than in most cases. Why don't you just get pregnant without pain and give birth without pain? Because pain is bad. If pain is bad, why do you get pregnant? Why do you give birth? Why doesn't God just relieve you of that process and just give you children from heaven? Because it's not natural. It's the path of life for you to pay the price of pain, to pay the price of, you know, crisis, challenge, trouble, for progress, for anything you want to have in life. Just like you don't give birth to a child without the pain of pregnancy 9 months. Just like you don't give birth to a child without the pain of contraction and push and all that, so also you don't give birth to anything in life without some form of pain and some form of crisis, some form of challenges, some form of, you know, trouble and things like that. Giving birth to anything, the production, the release of any fruit whatsoever is as a result of the process of pain, the process of change, the process of challenges, the process of crisis. I mean, pregnancy is one of the greatest crises you will ever imagine. No, I mean, the worst crisis you will ever get in life is pregnancy. You know why? Because it gives birth to the greatest fruit, to the greatest result you will ever imagine. It's life. I mean, can you imagine a woman? Can you imagine me not being able to sleep on my stomach? I cannot imagine myself not to sleep on my stomach 1 day or 2 days. You as a pregnant woman to sleep on her stomach for 9 months, you cannot even do that. Have you ever seen a pregnant woman that got pregnant for 6 months and said, you know what, I got tired. Let me relieve myself of this pregnancy for just 1 day. Let me drop that pregnancy on this side and just rest and stretch myself and just wear my old clothes and be able to lie on my stomach. So after 2 days or 1 week of rest, I will get the pregnancy back. It's crisis every day if you're pregnant. Crisis every day. You don't know what to eat. You feel like eating, then you don't feel like eating anymore. Then you say you want to eat. You want to eat banana, plantain, fried banana, and while they are frying it, before it's ready, just before it's about to be placed on the table, you say, no, I don't want it anymore. I want beans. You don't even control it because you just don't know what is happening to you. That's the greatest crisis. And you have tried all your best to keep that your figure, to keep that your stature, your figure, your stature, and to keep yourself slim and beautiful all your life. Then you get pregnant. Crisis. Crisis. Big time crisis. You lose your figure. Everything goes awry. Out the window it goes. Then you give birth. Then you have to start another crisis to try to get that weight back. It's all crisis. Then when the water comes out and it's about for you to give birth, then that all the 9 months of crisis was nothing, not crisis at all. Real crisis begins now. Pregnancy is the greatest crisis. No crisis is more than giving birth. I mean, I was there when my wife was giving birth. I mean, we went through classes with her. 6 months, we were going to classes of how to give birth without pain. Have you ever heard some of those classes? Have you ever heard of them? When they tell you can give birth without pain, go into the water and give birth in the water, and the husband has to be there. You have to massage the back. We practiced everything. Everything was good until until the real thing began. Until the real process started. And when she started giving birth, and my wife started, laboring, the labor started. When the labor started, and she was, her legs were up there, and and I knew what I was taught. I needed to massage her back, and she said, "Yeah, I massage my back." As soon as I began to massage my back, remove your head. You go. Okay. Stop. Okay. Then start. I couldn't recognize my wife, but she was always in charge, She was always in charge. My wife is a cool person, always quiet, always in charge, always taking charge of her emotions, always well behaved, always, always cool, always quiet. But here, that is how we give birth without pain, okay? That is how we give birth without crisis, okay? That is how we give birth without crisis. Without pain. You know what? It left such a strong mark on me that I told my wife. We were still planning to have 3 more kids. I said, Princess, those 3 kids, we'll take them. We'll take them from the foster home or from the orphanage house. We'll take the other children. Don't worry. Just forget about it. No more children. No more children. Oh, there are so many children out there who are begging for parents. Let's go and pick them from there. I don't care. No more children. Finish. Finito. Finish. Finish. I don't want to see this thing again. Not just that I don't want to see it. I don't want to see my wife in that state anymore. I can't stand seeing my wife in that situation anymore. I can't. If God wants us to have children, let him take care of it. Or we are going to have them from somewhere. There are so many children running about and praying for God to give them parents. We would rather go and get them from there. No. I mean, that's the greatest crisis. That's the greatest crisis. Wow. So what I'm saying is, crisis is something, you cannot just tell people that, if they have pain, that is Satan. So if a woman is pregnant and she's giving birth, she's having pain, is that not natural? It's natural. If she's pregnant, if she's in labor, she's having pain, is that not natural? It's natural. And so, pain sometimes is a helper. Crisis sometimes is a helper. It's not always all the pain that are bad. It's not all the time that pain are bad. It's not all the time that crises are bad. Sometimes they are needed. Sometimes they are needed for you to be able to give birth to your destiny. You can never give birth to your destiny without pain. You can never give birth to your destiny without crisis. You can never give birth to your destiny without some form of, some form of trials or some form of trouble or challenges. I mean, those are the things that help you to actually get to where you need to get to. Those are the things that help you to get to where you need to get to. All right. Okay, let me give you. I promised you that I was going to give you some hints on when do you know that it's time to change and it's time to move forward. First of all, life is dynamic. You must always change, and you must always strive to change and strive to move forward. Always change. Always work on yourself to change through self-education. Always work on yourself to change to find out new things that you don't know. Always push yourself to get self-education, to change your mindset, to expand your worldview, to work on your character, to change your behavioral patterns, to change your value system, to improve your value system, to change your character, to, just always work on improving yourself. That's a process of change. Change must be daily, and change must be dynamic. So that is one thing. Secondly, try to understand and follow change according to the leading of the Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit is in all of us, so follow the leading of the Holy Spirit and let God lead you to understand on constant basis what are the things to change. If there are no things to change, if you are not seeing anything to change around you or in your life, you are in trouble. That's the biggest crisis. If you don't see anything to change, if there are no things to change in your country, if there are no things to change in your society, in your church, and in yourself, you are in trouble. Because then it means crisis will help you. It's only crisis that will help you to change. When everything is stable, when everything is just cool, when you think that everything is just, running on well and smooth, that is the biggest danger. You are getting ready for some tsunami. I'm sorry, you are getting ready for Matthew. Right now there is a Hurricane Matthew coming to Florida. You are getting ready for either Matthew or Hannah or whatever hurricane. They give them different names. I don't know what your own name of the crisis will be, but it's going to be a very big hurricane. It's going to be a very bad one. It could be a tsunami. The cooler you are, the more security you try to build, and the more peaceful living you try to do without crisis. When there is nothing to change, the more crisis you have, the more crisis you have, the more crisis you have. So follow the leading of the Holy Spirit and know that, let Him tell you on a regular basis what to change in your life, what to change in your society, what to change in your family, what to change in your character, what to change in your walk with God, what to change in your attitude to people, what to change in your relationship with others, what to change in your business. The more changes you are experiencing and the more regular your changes are, the more stable your growth and your increase will be. So always desire, always make sure you are walking in, constant change. This the better for you, the better for you. So the next thing you want to make sure is happening is that, when do you know how to change? You know it is time to change or do things differently when you are no more excited about the things you are doing. When the thing that you are doing or the things that you are involved in no more excite you. When you are just going through the emotions. When you are just going through the process. When you are doing something just what you say out of obedience or out of faithfulness, but you are not really getting excited out of it. You are not really getting excited. You are not really excited about it. You are not. And you used to be excited about it. You used to be excited about that thing. It used to give you a lot of energy, but it's no more giving you any energy. It's no more giving you any excitement. And then it's time to change. It's time to change. When you are doing, it's no more giving you any zeal, and no more zeal, no more enthusiasm, then it's time for change. The next thing that makes you to know that you need to change is, the next thing that makes you to know that it's time to change is when you discover that that thing you are involved in or that thing you are doing is giving you more regression rather than progression. When you are experiencing more regression as a result, more than progression, that is, the thing is not helping you to grow. It's not changing you. It's not improving you. The thing is not, moving you forward. You are not moving forward as a result of that thing, but you are actually moving backward. If that is what is happening, that thing is not helping you. You are not growing forward. You are not moving forward. You are moving backward. Then it's time to change. It's time to change. If it's a relationship that you are having and that relationship is not facilitating your growth, the relationship is not bringing you closer to God, or the relationship is not bringing you, closer to your vision, to your goals, to your mission, whatever you are involved with, whatever you are doing, and it's not making you to be better, but it's rather taking you down. It's not bringing raising you up, but it's actually making you to be regressive. You are more regressive than you are progressive. You are not growing, but you are actually going backward. That is tragedy. That is a tragedy right there. You want to stop that relationship. You definitely want to stop that relationship, because any relationship that is not causing you to grow, any relationship that is holding you back from your height, from your vision, from your purpose, or from growing stronger in God or closer in relationship with the Lord, any such relationship is a challenge. You have to drop it, and you have to change. It's time for you to change. Another thing that will make you to know that it's time to change is, if that relationship is taking you away from God. Relationship. Oh, sorry. It's a challenge. You have to drop it. If that relationship is taking you away from God, and you know that relationship is not increasing, if that relationship is not increasing your relationship with God, if whatever you are doing, that activity is not bringing you closer to God, but taking you away from God, then it's time for you to leave. It's time for you to stop that relationship, and just drop it, and drop the relationship. Okay, I was looking for something here, but don't worry about it. So you want to drop that relationship, and Because if you don't, crisis will come into that relationship. So if that relationship is taking you away from God and you don't stop it, crisis will come, and crisis will help you change it. If that thing you are doing is not bringing you closer to God and is rather taking you away from God or taking you away from your mission, and you don't stop it, you don't change it, it means crisis will come. Crisis will change it for you. If what you are doing is no more giving you excitement and it's no more giving you joy, and you are still doing it and you don't change, you don't bring change, you don't want to change, crisis will come. Crisis will come and help you. So those are the things that, that would normally invite crisis. Any unwillingness to change by yourself voluntarily is an invitation to crisis. So next thing that will help you to know that it's time for you to change, when you see that you are no more effective. You could be doing something, and you think you are okay, but what you are doing, you are no more effective. You are no more as effective as you ought to be. You are not effective in it. But you are still doing it because everybody expects you to do it, and you are trying to, just, do your best, and you don't want to change where you are. You are comfortable there or something. But you are not effective. It's time for you to change. Because if you don't change, believe me, there will be a crisis or the other that will come to push you to change. Or if you will not change and you want to leave things the way they are, then you'll be going from one crisis to the other. You'll be going from one crisis to the other. Next point. Whenever the people that are in your life stop exciting you, it means it's time for you to move away from them. If they are your family members, you need to build another relationship with them. You need to change the kind of relationship you're having with them. Maybe you need to leave the home. Maybe you need to live separately. Maybe you need to begin to build you need to just change the kind of relationship. Maybe you need to change the relationship from dependent relationship to a kind of more independent relationship. So if the people that used to excite you, if the people that, used to, get you excited, they are no more getting you excited, but instead of excitement, they are now bringing irritation to you. They are now bringing, you are now being irritated by them. It's time for you to change something in that relationship. If you don't, it will lead to crisis, and it will be worse. It will be worse. Next thing that, will help you to know that you are in for a change, that you need a change, is when you are doing what you need to do and you seem to be doing everything right, but there is no happiness, there is no joy, and there is no personal satisfaction. Even though you might be having fulfillment in the sense that you're having money, you might be having money, you might be having friends there, but there is no inner satisfaction, there is no inner happiness. If you lack that happiness and you are doing your best, there's still no happiness, you are trying your best, there is no satisfaction, it means it's time for you to change something. If you don't change it, then crisis will come and help you change it. The next thing that makes you to know it's time for you to change is when you find out that your occupation is now like going through routine. What your job is like a routine, your occupation is like a routine, no life, no excitement, no joy, just going through the motions, just doing what they tell you to do, but you are not having initiative, you are not being proactive, you are not getting excited about it, you are not looking forward to it. It means it's time for you to change something. You need to change something. Either you need to change yourself, either you need to get yourself educated, either you need to get more knowledge, either you need to get more understanding, either you need to grow, you need to just do something. It means it's time for a change. It's time for a change. If you don't, you will reap more crisis. And finally, when all seems to be going wrong, no matter what you do, people are not satisfied. People who are supposed to be praising you, or people who are praising you before, they are not satisfied with you anymore. No matter what you do, you can never seem to please everybody. It's time for you to move on. And another thing is, whenever you are doing something, and instead of you to be receiving blessing from it, it's giving you more sorrow, stress, dissatisfaction, then it's time to move on. It's time to move on. What time is it? Oh, yeah. My time is off, yeah. Well, I hope you have shared this link. I hope you have shared the link. If you have not yet shared the link, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and share the link, because I think you all need to have a copy of this message. I think we all need to have a copy of this message. So go share the link as fast as possible. And when you share it, make sure you write your comments. You write your feelings. You write your comments about it. Write your comments about it. So write your comment about it, and share the link, and let me hear what you are thinking. Let me see what you are writing. Let me hear some of your comments here. Okay, here we are. T.Y. Moore say, thank you so much, Dr. Adelaja, helping us to embrace change. Wow, I'm so enlightened. Adamu Bash, very correct, sir. Gladys says, ha ha ha, this is hard talk. Pastor Sunday Adelaja is hard. It's true talk. It's true talk. Dupe God says, in a relationship that always makes you cry, you need to tell the other person so that he does not just use you and lie on you. Please move on and don't die there. Yep. Prudence says, change when not happy, even if productive. Change when it's a routine. Change when no praises. Change when in sorrow. Yep. And Fan Benin, change is beneficial. No change, no gain. Right. Layo Charles Emmanuel, speechless. I learned a great deal. I enjoyed myself with the message. I enjoyed the fellowship with the family on this platform. What more can I say? Winifred said, this is a deep teaching. Thank you, Pastor. Nancy Gondidze, good night, Pastor. Okay, that's not. Francis says, change is all we need to move forward. TY, yesterday I was struggling with my son leaving home, and Dr. Adelaja encouraging testimony about his son sent to Africa at the age of 11 really helped me through a painful transition. Papa Macaulay says, thanks for this, sir. I think an altar call will be great. I think an altar call will be great after this, your sermon. Okay, after all my sermons, an altar call for those who have not received Jesus Christ. Okay? Love you so much, sir, by the largeness of your heart. Thank you. Oyiye Okoro said, thank you, Pastor, for this message. We are delivered. Praise the Lord. Wow. Emmanuel Nana said, very true, man of God. Blessindra said, you are so right. Gladys say, listening, sir. Is a job. Time to change something. Adeola Disu say, wow, wow, wow. Afolabi say, a broken relationship is far more better than a broken marriage. Adeola says, thank you for this message, sir. Adamu says, true words, sir, I believe. Diamond Miller, thank you, man of God, I love it. Stacy say, crisis is a catalyst for change. Ufoma, wow, glad to hear this. Prudence says, change when your relationship with God is, when with people is drawing you away from your vision or diminishing your relationship with God. Nkem DK, need to know the difference in relationships. Doesn't God give grace in relationship? Funke Orude, if that relationship is marriage, what do you do? You just change the relationship. You stay in the marriage, but it doesn't mean you leave the marriage, but you change the relationship, the responses in the marriage. How you perceive your each other, how you relate to each other. You change your patterns, your routine in the marriage. You don't change the spouse. That's not what I'm talking about. Kennedy Festus, anything in relationship that is not adding value to your life, you have to change it. That doesn't mean you have to come out of the relationship. You just change things that are not right there. Okay. Beate Mueller, I am due for a change of country and change of job. Basically, change all my life. Thanks, Pastor, for supporting my decision. I feel reassured now. Tak daleko, unajiye smash. Jumbo, Pastor, with your teaching, I now understand why change is inevitable. Thanks, Pastor, for the paradigm shift. God bless you, sir. Gregory Femi, thank you, Pastor. I am driving, but have to park and listening to you. Love you, Pastor. Funke Orude, if your marriage is not taking you to God, should you change your husband? No, you don't change your husband. You just obey God. You just change your attitude. Edwin Amini, Pastor, you are preparing an army, I can see. Thank God. Glory Bay, thank you, Pastor. We have to learn how to embrace our struggles and challenges for change to take place. Awesome teaching, Dr. Adelaja. Blessings. Jonah Okekunle, thank you so much, sir, for opening my eyes to see where I needed to apply changes in my life. God bless you richly. Thank you. Michael King, thanks again for this teaching and enlightenment. Elizabeth Ali, thank you so much, Pastor. I've laughed so hard and I've learned so much. I must initiate change with the help of the Holy Spirit daily. Blessing, Pastor. Michael Oyeka, I am getting better since I started listening to you, Pastor. Sandra, the lesson in this message is great, sir. Change is a constant thing, and we must learn to embrace it. Thank you, sir. Excel Nuga, change bring new things. Bless Indra, another mind-blowing message. Shy, I am loaded, sir. May God continue to bless you for us. Sir, I love you so much, Pastor. Thank you. Onyinye, thank you so much, Pastor, for this message. We are delivered. Praise God. Afolabi Victor, if your vision does not stretch you, it cannot impact the world. Prudence, Pastor, what will I have done this moment without these teachings? These are very lifting. Thank you, Pastor. Nothing is compared to your teachings. Spiritual satisfaction. Peter Wolabi, can one bring a positive change to one's life financially through spirituality? No. You have to go and learn the laws of money. Go and listen to my teachings on SundayAdelajablog.com on finances. Those will help you much. Peter Liberty West, you are truly amazing, sir, and may the wisdom from above in your in you increase as you release to others. Olaolu, I have changed so much since I came in contact with you. Thank you for your obedience and intimacy with the Father. Glory says, thank you, Pastor. We have to learn to embrace our struggles and challenges for change to take place. Awesome teaching. Jonah, thank you so much, sir, for opening my eyes to see where I needed to apply changes in my life. Funke Orude, he cannot take you to God and you are trying to take him, but he won't budge. What do you do? And you keep praying and even fasting. What you do is face God, focus on God and please God. And, don't wait to try to get your husband to follow you before you please God. Go ahead and please God and leave him to cash up. Favored, thanks for your support always, sir. If you have one word to tell Nigerians at these trying times, what will you say? Patience. Be more patient. Prudence says, Pastor, your blog does not open to me and your email is not going. Oh, okay. Please write to pastor@godembassy.org. Not through the blog, but write me. Alexander Israel, your messages have been a blessing to me, especially in understanding the kingdom values. Anita Noville, thank God for letting these people know they can't change their spouse. The only how the Bible speaks about is death in adultery, but in adultery, the other still cannot marry. Well, thank you so much, everyone. I think that is all for now. I still have to travel like an hour or more to maybe 1.5 hours to get home. So it was nice to be with you guys. And we'll see you tomorrow morning. God bless. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.